All right, what's going on, YouTube? And today we're going to do what we're going to call a subject called quick hits. And so what we're going to do is like quick questions, quick answers about NFL news, just around the whole entire league in general. Even though we're going to be mainly Cowboys based, I'm your host Slater, and right across from me is my co-host Mike. And let's just get right into it. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of a funky one. So we're filming this on a Friday afternoon, so we saw Thursday Night Football last night.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers 27, Washington Commanders 18. Green Bay Packers that good, or the Commanders that bad?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Commanders have definitely taken a step back from last year. They haven't been able to execute their game plan, and I think that Green Bay has been very disruptive.
I agree.
So when you can't do the things you want to do, just because a defense is playing so dominantly, it's difficult to stay in a game. So do I think the Commanders are bad? No, I don't think they're bad. I just it's still early in the season. They just haven't hit their stride yet. But Micah just really caused a lot of problems for them. As you would expect. But we'll see how they fare. Moving down the
Yeah, no, I
schedule.
agree. I think it's all on Green Bay's defense right now. Their offense looks good, but it's really all on their defense. Their defense is still
Sure.
shut down, and so it's all going to depend on the offense capitalizing. Washington took some injuries last night, so we'll see how those play out. We know the Eckler Achilles, and so they're going to be looking to their rookie 7th-round pick and some of the running back depth to kick in. But it's definitely a big hit after trading Brian Robinson away. So yeah, I think it's Packers good.
Yeah, I mean Eckler, man, that was just. I mean, nobody wants to see that. That's really rough. He was just doing what he does, and that just happened like that. So it's really unfortunate. It's a hit for them definitely because he's had a good start so far. So it's going to be a loss for him down the road. But they're still a very capable team with a good defense, and they just ran into a more complete team who's
Mm-hmm.
also very capable, who's just enhanced what they already had off of last year.
Yeah.
So I think back to the original question, is Green Bay just that good? They were good already, and now they're just a little bit better, and they're just essentially picking up where they left off last year, where a lot of teams aren't in that same situation. So, we'll see how it fares down the stretch. Is what I'm gonna say. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. You got any quick hits?
What do you think about the Jadeveon Clowney news in Dallas? How do you feel about that?
I'm 50-50. Twitter says publicity stunt. I'm inclined to agree to that, but I definitely think if they could find a way to get him to a contract, it would help the Cowboys huge.
Sure.
The only thing that I don't like about it is, I just want the young guys to play and develop. I
Yeah.
just feel like bringing in someone like him. It's a good mentorship. It's a good veteran leadership, but I definitely want to see the young guys take all those snaps as much as they can because I want to see where we're at with all that second round compensation we put into the defensive end.
Yeah, and that's what I think they would do. I think more than likely, it wouldn't be a situation where they put him in as a primary. It'd be kind of like how, they're using Micah Parsons. Not that there's a comparison, but, they bring him in on situationals and third downs, and, you just have an extra elite pass rusher out there at the same time as some of our young guys. I think he definitely adds help. He can definitely give the defensive line a boost wherever they use him out there, and I would love to see it happen. So, I think it will. I think as you've read, they're just coming to terms. He's going to wait and see. I think a lot of it's probably pivotal on how this next game goes. At home versus the Giants. So, what did you think about JJ McCarthy?
Monday night, JJ McCarthy, first 3 quarters, slowest game of my life.
Yeah,
Just Vikings didn't seem like it could click, but all of a sudden in that fourth quarter, I don't know what happened, but I believe in Kevin O'Connell, and I
sure.
do believe in his ability to keep his players motivated. And I think that Vikings team has fought a lot in the past 2 or 3 years when it comes to quarterbacks, dealing with injuries with Kirk Cousins and that Achilles year, and then being able to do it with Sam Darnold. So the team
Right.
knows they have the ability to plug in any quarterback. It's if can the quarterback keep his composure? And that's what JJ McCarthy brings to you. Yes, he may not be the craziest gunslinger, but he's a leader. That's what he was really known for in Michigan. So I'm happy for him, and I was happy to see them win as much as I would love to see Ben Johnson and the Bears win. It was kind of amazing to see JJ McCarthy run to that corner of the end zone, and the whole team is just like crowning him, hyping him up, and Kevin O'Connell screaming down the sideline. So happy for him.
Yeah, it was definitely like he found his inner Josh Allen there for the end of that game. It's good to see him do that, and hopefully it continues. And I'm pulling for his growth as a quarterback. I think I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And that's good and bad. It's good for Minnesota. It's bad if we have to run into him, but it takes time for a quarterback to develop. But I just thought it was a really interesting game, and when I was sitting there watching it, it really reminded me of what Josh Allen just did versus the Ravens, and I was like, man, that's a cool comparison because he's so young,
Yeah.
and to see him pull a little bit of that out of him was cool.
Yeah, especially for someone who you can tell that. I don't know what he did last year. It's kind of hard to tell because he was a rookie technically last year. This is really his rookie campaign because last year he was hurt all year. Yeah. So I just wonder what someone does in that position. I'm sure he watched nonstop film, studied the team, studied the players.
Right.
He knew he was going to have Justin Jefferson. He'll have Jordan Addison back eventually. So I'm just kind of curious on, what I would love to know that growth development during that year and if that's what contributed to being calm and coming back in the fourth quarter. Because they had some sound bits from the sidelines, and it's just like, come on, let's keep on going. Let's stay cool. We're good. And, Justin Jefferson's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm with you, Right. So I'm just curious if that would have been the same if this was actually his rookie year this year, like if he just came out of college, or if it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I'm sure that, having the time in the year, even though he was injured, to acclimate and be recognized and earn the role of a leader on the team, and then coming out and being able to play to the level of expectation that a leader would have, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like you got to develop one, and then now you get to display the other instead of coming out under the pressure of having to do both at the same time as a new player to the team and as a quarterback. So definitely looks like it's going in the right direction. Mm-hmm. So it looks like the 49ers are going to be potentially without Purdy.
Yeah. And
what do you think of that?
Yeah, so they're without Purdy and Kittle. So Kittle got put on the IR for 4 weeks, and then Purdy is on the 2 to 5 week span. Great teams fall apart eventually, right? No, I mean it's just one of those things where I'm not upset about it either by no means, but it's I saw a funny story on Twitter where it's like the 49ers have an opportunity to see what they could have drafted back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, when they took Trey Lance with the 3rd overall pick, but everyone thought it was going to be Mac Jones. Well, now Mac Jones is stepping in 4 years later as your backup, so it's kind of a funny full circle moment because you thought Trey Lance was your guy, you put a bunch of capital into it, and then now he's your backup stepping in for your 7th round guy who. So I don't know, man. I've been down this road before, and so you just pray that the backup quarterback can hold enough of the load, like we have Cooper Rush, for your starter to return, and you're still within playoff contention. And you hope that this Purdy injury doesn't linger on. And you hope Kittle's injury doesn't linger on. But hopefully, CMC can carry the train because that's what it's
going to have to be. You've lost 2 major pieces to the team, because Kittle's always been a driving force, and he's a game changer. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm not sad about it. Too bad.
I've been down this road. I don't feel bad for no team that has injuries.
Yeah, whatever. So last one, we have the Chiefs versus the Eagles this week. Who wins that game?
It's probably going to be the Eagles. In Super Bowl rematches, I know it's always the opposite team, getting that payback, but it's going to take a lot from the Mahomes and the boys because, I know you got Mahomes over there, but I don't know. My gut says the Eagles. I can't tell you why. I just know that the Xavier Worthy injury, Rashid Rice being gone. You're hoping Kelce turns into an alternative Kelce from 4 or 5 years ago. Let's call him pre-Taylor Swift Kelce. you're hoping for pre Taylor Swift Kelsey, and it ain't coming back. Okay, so
Right.
you're hoping for one of those, and if that works out, then you gotta hope that Saquon's not having a day again. So
You-
are they in Kansas City? Do you know if they're in
oh
Kansas
man, I
City or
think
in
I think it
Vegas?
is in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what I think. The Chiefs are a dynasty team for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they're going to just fall off that fast, right? I think the Super Bowl got a little bit out of hand. It was a totally unique matchup for them, and the Eagles just were on such a hot streak that I think they just got overwhelmed. They got hit harder than they've ever been hit, and they were defeated quite handedly. But this is a very good team with an excellent quarterback who knows how to win, and they know how to prepare for a big game. So I'm going to give this one to the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a fight down to the wire, but I just feel like if you're gonna, it takes more than one shot to take the king out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Eagles look great, and they are a good team, but I'm not ready to just say that the Chiefs are done and they're not the same just yet. I think they still know how to use the weapons that they have, and they still have plenty of talent to get it done. So I think it's going to be a tough game for them, and they're not going to just go out and run the Eagles off the field. But I think they'll pull it off because they know
well,
what to expect.
yeah. I mean, it just comes, and Kansas City is at home, by the way, so I will give up that advantage. I think what it comes down to is, most teams that start their season 0-2 aren't really in a good spot. So there's a lot of teams who lost last week who are really looking to win, right? Now, as a Cowboys fan, I need Philly to lose. I already got the Commanders to lose. I need Philly to lose, so then we can kind of keep it all even. Obviously Philly will have the tiebreaker on us for now,
Sure.
but it's just one of those things where if Kansas City goes 0-2, that's a rough start to your season. Going 1-1 and trying to work from there is a lot easier than working 0-2, especially in a division that got a
100%.
whole lot better. The Broncos looked rough, but I assume Bo Nix is going to get back into shape. The Raiders are very well coached with Pete Carroll now. And then who is the fourth team? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers with Harbaugh. So obviously you got some really good coaches in that division now, and so it's going to be a battle. And I don't think 0-2 is good for the Chiefs. So I'm hoping that they put the fight up and take it to the Eagles.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
You got any more quick hits?
Man, that's it for me.
I think you kind of covered all my quick hits too. The only other one I had was I think it's the Green Bay wide receiver. I think it was Wicks, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Donovan Wicks. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with a collarbone injury.
I think that was Reed.
Yes, Reed. I'm sorry. Number
Yeah.
11, Jalen Reed. You're right. Yeah, so he's out 4 to 6 weeks. So the Packers kind of took a hit there, but they also have Matthew Golden. So maybe it
Yeah.
just kind of fits like that. So
Yeah. He
they're
didn't,
going to be
why you touched on Matthew Golden there, he got a lot of targets last night, but
overthrown.
yeah, man, he didn't really get a chance to show. That's another bummer, But anyway, that's all I got, man.
All right, man. Yep, this is our quick hits. We'll kind of do this maybe once a week, maybe bi-weekly when some big news comes out. We just kind of want to cover NFL news. If you enjoy, please subscribe, like, follow us on Twitter. It'll be all in the description below. Peace.